welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. Y'all know what's coming. Don't be acting like that. Don't act like you don't know. Don't do that. How y'all day going, girl? How you day going? How your day going, y'all? What is up? Oh, y'all. So anyways, let me tell you, I guess I should share how I'm doing. I be always asking y'all all the time. Y'all don't even ask me. I'm doing all right. I really am. Today is a beautiful day. It's wonderful to be alive. It's really awesome. Like, seriously. I've been having so much fun watching all these different films. Forgive me, y'all. Watching all these different films and television shows. I've been feeling like almost like I'm watching more than I'm hopping on here recording. And I be trying to, like, seriously, after I'm done watching something, girl, just get up and go record right quick, okay? Because this thing, you know, you don't watch a ton of things, and then you start to feel like, okay, what did I watch again? And trying to put it all together and different stuff, so it's much easier, like, seriously, to enjoy my time, then say, okay, let's talk, let's chat. But like I was saying, I am having an amazing time. It's good to be alive. I'm just really excited to be here and be hanging out with y'all, my Faith Watcher family, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled Chasing Secrets. And it's like weird. Y'all ever seen films like that? Like, it has like one title, then it has another title when you look it up. So whether it's Chasing Secrets or The Secret Path, somewhere in there, you'll find your way. You'll find it, okay? But first, let me tell y'all what this film is about. A black couple provides sanctuary for an abused white girl in a pre-civil rights South. Now, Faith Watchers out here, okay, let me just say this, right? Let me close computer, all right. This was very difficult. It was a hard watch. It really was a hard watch. While we are literally right now in Black History Month, and no, I don't usually tend to, I didn't realize it until like actually recording this video. Like, yeah, this is Black History Month, so this would be perfect to share with them since I happen to watch it anyway. Because I don't just be watching films and be like, okay, it's a certain holiday, let me watch certain films according to that. They don't really happen like that for me. It's wherever the Lord leads and different things like that, and if it just happen to fall in there somehow, then it happens too. But like I always say, yes, we like to have fun on this channel and all that good stuff, but y'all know I'm always about y'all soul, making sure y'all on point with that, and y'all can walk away with some good stuff to help y'all make it through life, right? That is really always the ultimate goal, and walk away smiling, laugh, all that good stuff. And yes, I hope you entertain in the meantime. Of course, I would love for you to have fun, right? I hope you do. But then we have films like this, y'all, that I have to throw out here for y'all, because y'all done grown with me. This channel been around for a little over a year now, right? And we grown up together. We really have. Y'all done seen me in all my different phases and all my different moments, right? Y'all don't kind of watch me grow from just like coming into myself and all these different things. And so with that being said, yeah, I have to share, we have to talk about these kind of things. We really do. Because it's life, right? And so, like I was saying, this was a very hard film. It's hard to watch because you don't want to see certain things. I don't really like to see racism. I don't like to see injustice. I don't like to see people being prejudiced and different things like that. I don't. And even though I know these things still exist, I mean, obviously we can look around. It almost seems like it ain't going nowhere, at least until Jesus come back. But you don't really want to, especially when you're watching the film, you don't really want to get into all of that. You really don't. But because y'all my family and all of that, I'm taking y'all with me, okay? I done experienced something hard. We all here. We done experienced it, right? And so here we meet Joanne, and Joanne is a little girl who happened to be white, and her parents, number one, like her parents, I love the way the film started off, like seriously. I believe it is Joanne as a grown woman, and she has her own family now. And then it almost takes us back to the past. She goes back because she sees that her own daughter is acting some kind of way, is acting like she's better than somebody else and different things like that. And Joanne has had a hard life from the moment she entered the world. Like, seriously, she has. And to see her own child behaving in this manner, and she's like, you know what? Let me just take her back. Let me go back to this place that even herself she tried to forget about. Not in a way where she wants to forget. Like, some people are like that. I don't want to go back there. That's said and done. I don't want to go back there. But then there are certain things that, yeah, you don't want to go back there and still being in that mind frame. But you at least want to be mindful of where you came from and the lessons, the different things that you have taken from those hard places that you came from. You at least want to make sure that is like that don't go nowhere, because that can help you even in the present and in the future. So Joanne does go back to her past where she was born and lets her daughter know, opens up a world to her daughter that her daughter didn't even know about, because her daughter was raised privileged. And so to see there were certain things that her mom went through that she had no idea, I'm sure it just really enlightened her in ways. That is a lesson that ain't got no choice but to teach you. You want to teach somebody something? Show them. Let them see exactly what life could have been like for you. All right. Yeah, your mama done save you from all of this. Your daddy done save you from all of this. But look how far your family done came from. And so then it goes back to the past, and Joanne is like not even here now, and we get to see that hard birth. She was brought into this world not even wanted by her own family, because her mother had no idea even who her daddy was. And so that was almost like a terrible thing. I'm sure it's a terrible thing now to not even know. It's like, what you been doing? All right. Is that mean you don't know? You know what I'm saying? And so, and so Joanne's mom was really out there. Like, she was outside for real. And it was so sad to watch, because it's like, how can you just stay in this selfishness now that you already a parent? It's one thing when you just by yourself and you living life, but now you done seen that you done brought a child into this world, and you still trying to play games. You still like there chasing things you ain't got no business chasing things that don't even want you. And then here's my thing with Joanne mama, right? The main thing I just really didn't like, she had a way out. It's one thing when you doing stuff because you feel like it ain't no way out. You doing what you gotta do. You gotta eat. You gotta provide. You gotta survive. And you just doing what it takes. And not to say that is right, depending on what you're doing. Not to say, I ain't saying that. I ain't condoning none of that. But when you were sent a way out and you just chose to stay in that grind, you chose to stay in the gutter, that is something that I just can't wrap my mind around. That's something that I don't condone. I'm just like, it really turned me off when I seen Joanne mama like this. Like, seriously, you see this guy in the military, a good guy, a guy is respectable, a guy that is honorable, a guy is obviously disciplined, a guy that is willing to work. He getting up, he going to work. He is a part of the military, so you know he got some good things about himself. And then on top of that, he is willing to accept you and your child. That's not even his child. And he's willing to raise her as his own. He's stepping into this role that he doesn't even have to. He could turn a blind eye to. But he saw something special in Joanne's mom. At least the fact that I think he just wanted to be her hero. He didn't want to leave her in that place. Especially, he felt like anybody would feel. Okay, you see somebody who's in need and who needs some help, and you're like, okay, I want to get this person out of here. How can I do this? And he was willing to do whatever it took. And then for her, she was so determined, because it's just been ingrained inside of her that she couldn't even accept any goodness. She couldn't even receive it for herself. That's all she knew was guys treating her any kind of way, like something on the bottom of their shoe. And so that's all she knew. And when she saw something and encountered something different that really saw her for who God created her to be, you are loved, you're a treasure, you're God's princess. Like, you were created for love. You weren't created to just be used and abused and tossed and turned and all kind of different things, right? And so this guy actually see you the way God sees you. How he was able to do that, that's just, I just consider it's just God, okay? We're gonna leave it at that, because how you was acting, I don't know how he was able to do that, but he was able to do it, right? Willing to take you and your daughter out of that place, and you just had to ruin it. You just had to ruin it. Just showed them your backside. Showed them you was nothing but the trash that you came from. And he even said that to her face when he was like, he was trying. And he heard some rumors going around that she was doing some foul stuff. And in the present moment, he not even looking at her past. Forget all of that. He know about that. But even in the present, this is what you showing him. You showing him that you ain't changed. You don't want nothing better. And you where you are is because you chose to be there. And that's all you want out of life. And he wanted more out of life. He was a single guy. He didn't have a family yet. He was willing to take on you and your family, and y'all can you know, walk journeys, life, God's life together. But you ain't want that. And so he had to do what he had to do. He walked away, and you can tell, you can see it in his eyes. It wasn't something that he wanted to do, because that he actually had a heart. And he knew if he walked away, this was this girl's last chance at having a good life, making a good life for her and her child. But you can't make somebody want something that they don't want. You can't make somebody change. They have to want that for themselves. And you could tell he knew that. You saw that inner battle right there in that moment, but he knew he couldn't go down with her. And so he left her, all right? And that was like a huge turn of events for Joanne's mom, because at that point she really felt like she didn't have nothing. She really felt like it was not, life had nothing to offer her. And she continued on the path that she was on. She continued to allow herself to be used and abused and different things like that. And then you had sweet little Joanne, who obviously she's a child here. She doesn't know anything but what she sees, and she has grandparents. Her grandma was sweet, loved her, but the grandma was under the grandpa's thumb, and the grandpa was very, in a lot of ways, to me, I'm gonna say, forgive me y'all, very cruel, can seem heartless. They had a grandson, but the grandson obviously had a different, like, they knew where he came from. He had a mom and a daddy or whatever. I don't know what made them take to the grandson even more, if it was the fact that he was a boy, I don't know. But he loved the grandson, and he actually shown more love and more attention to the grandson as opposed to Joanne, the granddaughter here. And so, yes, y'all, Joanne was kind of left on her own, trying to figure it out and different things. And lo and behold, it's like God saw her. And that just reminded me of, like, even when man don't see you, God always sees you. And he saw this precious little girl here, Joanne, and she stumbles into this path of this black couple, married couple, didn't have any children of their own. And there was a connection there. For some reason, she connected with this black couple. And she would always go to their house after school. She would always go over there. But the family that she came from was they were prejudiced, they were racist, they were all in the different terms you could think of. They were all of those different things, and they raised her to be pretty much just like them. But for whatever reason, she didn't take on all of that. She took on a lot of different things that naturally just happens. Like, what do you call a person who doesn't look like you? So she took on certain terms because that was all that she knew. She had no idea that certain terms were offensive to other people. She don't know all of that. She's just a child. But the way that this black couple opened up to her, and one of them, the wife was, her name was Honey, and her husband, she called him too tall and Honey, right? And it was just like so sweet the way that Joanne connected with Honey, and even the way that she connected with Too Tall. And I love sometimes the way Joanne talked to Honey, because Honey, she could get in her feelings sometimes. She was set in her ways in a lot of different ways. And so it was really cool that this precious little girl stumbled into their life, because she opened up a world to them that they didn't know nothing about. They thought that they knew different things, but the more time that they spent with Joanne, the more that their world was opened up, and they realized that God had more for them, that there was a purpose for them in this little girl, that God meant for them to be a part of this little girl's world. And I would just love, like, I love when Miss Honey get on Joanne because she be getting her little feelings sometimes, and Joanne to just be so polite about it. She'll be like, let me see what she'll say. So like, I'm just paraphrasing, but she'll say something like, "Now that won't be right now, Miss Honey. That ain't it, honey." And all of this stuff, and it was just so sweet. I love the heavy Southern accent that they had in this film, because that alone just reminded me of obviously them kind of days. And even now, people still have, you know, the Southern hospitality and different things in the South now. But overall, this movie was precious, and it just shows that even in our differences, that there's still a connection that we all have, that we're still human. We still have a lot of more in common than we think. And that's really what I took away from this film, that you don't know how a person has been raised, what they've been taught. And sometimes things ain't necessarily an individual's fault when you feel like you've been offended by somebody, or you feel like somebody could have said something a little bit better, or why they think like that, why they behave like that. You don't really know how they've been raised. And yes, it's still, when you're in the moment, it's hard to kind of grant them that grace. But I want to encourage you, especially when you watch this film, because you're going to be reminded that go ahead, extend grace, extend mercy, because you need it as well. You don't know certain things that you may do and say, and just comes naturally to you, that may come off as not so nice to someone else. And this film taught us that we need each other, regardless of how we look, where we came from, or our education, different things like that. We need each other. And this little girl would have been so lost in so many different ways if this Black couple didn't come and step in and been like a guide to her, started teaching her things that she didn't know about, that she couldn't learn about at home. They loved her, and that was one of the different things that she missed at home, that she wasn't getting at home. She wasn't getting love. She wasn't getting validation. She wasn't receiving acceptance. If anything, they made her feel like she didn't belong, that she was less than. They overlooked her. She wasn't even seen unless they were harping on her about something that she didn't measure up to. But yet this Black couple, who weren't her parents at all, loved her, took her underneath their wing, protected her, they guided her, they taught her things educational wise that made her like excel even in the classroom. They taught her not to be afraid. They gave her the courage that she needed, because she saw how much she was loved by this couple that looked nothing like her, that spoke nowhere like her, and yet she was theirs and they were hers. And it was so precious, and it was so sweet. And it reminded me, being that it's Black History Month, that we're all the same, okay? Underneath it all, we really are. We have a lot more in common than we would like to think about, than we would like to believe, but we do. We feel, we want to be loved, we are loved. Everybody wants to have a good life. We all want that happily ever after, okay? Who wants something that is not good? Nobody necessarily wants that, all right? I mean, it's not like you're gonna go up to somebody and say, give me all the bad things, give me the evil. Nobody ain't gonna do that, because nobody don't want that. We all want to be loved, all right? And it makes sense, because we were created by love, right? And so once again, this film is titled Chasing Secrets. Yeah, and it was so beautiful. It was a lot. Like I said, it is a hard watch, because there are going to be certain things that may rub you the wrong way. There are going to be certain things that forces you to face stuff that you may not want to face. But if you can get past that and see the heart of the film, I'm telling you, you're going to walk away smiling. It is a tearjerker, so bring the tissues. I'm just saying. And before I leave y'all for the day, let's go ahead and get into the scripture. We'll be coming out of Matthew chapter 14, verse 27. And it reads, "But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid." So that's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching, and until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.